Though it does take a long time to do these, it's still just PEMDAS. It's still just making sure you do what's in the parentheses, making sure you apply the exponent, then you go to multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Okay? So right off the bat, we're going to remind ourselves of the order of operations, which is PEMDAS. Okay, so make sure as soon as you look at one of these problems, is there anything you can do in the parentheses first? In other words, if you had 5x plus 3x in the parentheses, you would add those to get 8x first. Okay? Most of the time, I don't think there is going to be anything, at least on the worksheet, maybe in this on the lesson. Next thing you're going to do is apply any exponents. Now remember, when you apply an exponent to a polynomial, you have to expand it. You can't just apply the exponent to each term inside, right, because of the pluses and minuses. So we'll talk about that as we do some of the examples. Next, you'll multiply. Just put a multiplication sign there. Then you'll divide. And those kind of go together. And then adding and subtracting go together. All right, let's look at the first example. It's pretty simple. In fact, you guys probably know exactly what to do here. Anyway, you're first going to look in those parentheses to see if there's anything you can combine, which there's not. Because you have an x squared, a minus 7, and a 2x, those are all different terms. So since there's nothing to combine, the next thing you're going to look for is there any exponents you can apply, which is no. Actually, let's go through these steps. I actually have these on different slides. You don't have to write these steps down because they're just PEMDAS. Nothing to do in the parentheses. No exponents to apply. Okay, is there anything to multiply? Yeah. In other words, I'm going to take the 3. I'm going to multiply each term in there. Okay, so first you're going to have 3 times x squared. Next you're going to have 3 times negative 7. And then you're going to have 3 times 2x. Okay, now we still do have the plus 22. We'll add that at the end because that's comes after the order operations. See if I can squeeze that in there. Okay, so we've multiplied. All right, so no division for this one. We're going to check that off. Actually, I guess we do need to multiply those terms first, technically. So that'd be 3x squared minus 21 plus 6x plus 22. Okay, now we can add and subtract. So what I'm going to do is just group my like terms here. There's only 2 like terms, and these are 2 numbers. So just put those together. So we're going to have 3x squared plus 6x, and then plus 22 minus 21. Really, you can look at this as either add or subtracting. You can either look at it as negative 21 plus 22 or 22 minus 21. Either way, it's basically the same step. So this will bring us to the final answer, which is 3x squared plus 6x plus 1. Okay, let's do 2 more and then I'll give you guys the worksheet. Example 2. All right, here we have x plus 2 times x minus 2 plus 4x squared. Can we tell me the first thing you would do here? PEMDAS. Which one would you do? You can't do anything within the parentheses, but I mean, kinda. What would you go after that? No exponent, right? So what's the next thing? Multiply, yes. So we do need to multiply these two parentheses together, right? Which is multiplying binomials, okay? Again, in math, a lot of times we we spend so much time on stuff because it comes up so much. So we're going to multiply these two binomials. So we got to do the x times the x, then x times minus 2, and we'll do it one thing at a time. So first of all, we're going to have x times x, okay? Then we're going to have the x times the minus 2. Okay, then we have 2 times x. And then 2 times negative 2. And again, we still have the minus 4x squared, plus 4x squared at the end. So we'll have to just put that, I don't know, I'll put it up here for now. It doesn't matter where you put it. We're out of room here on the screen. All right, so let's multiply all these terms out. X times x is x squared. That's going to give you minus 2x. This is going to give you plus 2x. That will be minus 4. And then I'm going to take this 4x squared and carry it down like that. Okay, so before I add or subtract, I'm going to go ahead and group all my like terms. I'm going to put the x squared and the 4x squared together. Then everything else is basically already grouped. Just like that. All right, so again, we don't have a division problem here, just a multiplication one. So we can check off divide. All right, is there anything to add or subtract? Yes. In fact, both of these are addition technically. So we're going to combine those two terms. X squared plus 4x squared, remember that's a 1 there. That's going to give you 5x squared. And then minus 2x plus 2x, what is that? 0, right? Then you just have the minus 4. Actually, the final answer is 5x squared minus 4. That's it. Sometimes when you do PEMDAS, the answer is a lot simpler than what you started with. Any questions on that one? Again, probably what we're going to do today is do the first 3 examples, give you the worksheet, and then do the other 3 tomorrow. Or I might just go ahead and do them all today. We'll see. It's just going to take a while. All right, example 3. I don't know that we've done one like this before, but we have a binomial times a binomial times a binomial. So pretty much that kind of hints at this whole problem is going to revolve around multiplying. We get something multiplied by something, something multiplied by something. And I'm going to do everything on the first page. The steps are all the same, PEMDAS, but I'm going to do everything on one page just to simplify it. So in terms of PEMDAS, what's the first thing you can do here? Multiply, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do from left to right. It actually doesn't matter. You actually could multiply these two first, but it's usually simpler to go from left to right. So I'm going to multiply the first two first. So x times 4. I'm going to show my work here. So it'd be x times 4 plus x times negative x plus 2 times 4 and I'm going to have to put the last term down here, plus 2 times negative x. The reason I'm doing that is because once we figure this answer out, whatever that is, we've still got to multiply it by the 2x plus 3. So that's just going to drop down. Okay, so x times 4 is 4x. Plus x times negative x is minus x squared. Plus 2 times 4 is 8. And then finally we have minus 2x. Okay, so all of that is still multiplying the 2x plus 3, whatever that may be. Now, what's kind of different about this problem is now we have two sets of parentheses. So technically, we've got to do what's in these parentheses first. All right, which means we're going to combine the 4x and the minus 2x. And the other two things are going to stay the same. So 4x minus 2x is plus 2x. Then we'll have a plus 8. Now you could multiply that, but you'd have 4 terms times 2 terms. It would take a long time. It's better if you have 3 terms times 2 terms. So sometimes with PEMDAS you have to go backwards. When you end up with a set of parentheses like that and you can do something inside of it, you have to go ahead and do that first. So you kind of have to take it one step at a time. All right. So now comes the fun part, multiplying a 3 by 2. So we're going to do negative x squared times 2x. Then minus x squared plus 3. Sorry, minus x squared times 3. Then we're going to do 2x times 2x. Then 2x times 3. Plus 8 times 2x. Let's see if I can write that a little bit more clearly. And finally, we have 8 times 3. All right. So that's going to be negative 2x cubed, because that's an x to the first. That's going to be minus 3x squared. These are both 1, so that's going to be plus 4x squared. Plus 6x. That's going to give you plus 16x. And then finally plus 24. Okay, so now we can actually go ahead and add and subtract. All right. So the first two terms do not combine because it's an x cubed and an x squared, so we're just going to rewrite them. But we can add these two. It's going to become, oh no, we can't, sorry. The next one's going to drop down too, plus 4x squared. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm messing myself up here. We can add the x squared terms. Let's try this again. Okay, minus 3x squared plus 4x squared is just going to be plus x squared. Then we can add the 6x and the 16x, which is plus 22x. And then the plus 24 drops down. I think there's one of these like this on the worksheet. It takes a little while. Obviously, if you make one mistake, it throws off the whole problem. All right, so there's the first 3. We'll do the other 3 tomorrow, so you guys can get to work. Do some tomorrow involving division.